It's a trap, you walked right into the hate. All over a new king that's face is just replaced. It's all the same, you still be ruled by force. And no matter who it is, they'll still carry on the torch. Just a lie, cheat, steal, half of what you make. Taxation is steps, it's time to vacate the state. Newsflash, all your cash is an IOU. From killers who really do steal from you. Inflation is a weapon used by every nation who says that they're saving the world through lies. If they disguise and pass off as bravery, well, I got news, debt is slavery. It don't matter who's madder, a new master don't matter. When they both want the same, the state don't play no games. They got you trying to survive and put you on sides and ready to kill each other. That's conquer and divide. It's all for show, or for hyper.
That's how am I gonna keep myself eating, boy.
And we're back with another episode of Bones and Tubs. We're here with you on a Tuesday. The first whisperings of spring have begun here in Ohio, Southern Ohio, you know?
Yeah.
Right before we started the show, we decided we were walking out to the studio, and I realized that the sun was shining, and shining in a good, like... So anyways, the first whisperings of spring have begun. You know, we were outside recharging our solar batteries.
Naked.
Yeah.
Like, what's the best way to get the most vitamin D? I heard it's your butthole.
Butthole's upward, you know, classic pose. And I noticed while I was bent over, facing the world upside down, that the daffodil sprouts have begun to emerge.
That's really the only way to notice daffodil sprouts is with your asshole aimed up at the sky with no barrier and your eyes toward the ground.
I believe that.
Sort of a downward dog, I guess.
But, you know, I feel like it was the hope. You know what I mean? It was the first time you saw something that meant that the world was going to come back to life again. You know, I know people all over the world listen to the show, and I imagine in some parts of the world they don't have to experience the literal death of the earth.
Yeah.
and live in its corpse for at least 3 months.
I don't know. Even deserts have death at night. It gets cold as shit out in the desert, right?
True. But I feel like we live in a temperate climate. We really just see it all fucking die.
Is it weird to you, just to jump ahead real quick, that the Veronavirus thrives in both desert and cold climates?
Yeah, it's like I took some time and bought some good perks in Plague Inc., you know?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I'd never played that fucking game, honestly.
I mean, that's the way I look at it. It seems, I mean, it's kind of weird that it thrives in both, but it's whatever.
Right. I mean, you got to have enough cash points to get that perks up.
I mean, I feel like normally with most sicknesses, you know, you have benefits of living in a certain area because, like, say, like, you know, you live up here, you have to deal with winter and shit, but you also don't really have to fuck with malaria all that much.
Yeah, or killer bees.
Yeah.
Because of the frost line.
Yeah. So we got that going for us.
If you guys are, first tuning into this for the first time, welcome to the Broken Bones and Tubbs podcast.
Yeah.
Normally it's the Bones and Tubbs podcast. I'm Bones.
And I'm Tubbs.
And people still ask us, I'm not sure why.
I think they're being cheeky.
Are they?
Most likely.
Or are they just stupid?
No, I don't think they're stupid. That's just my cynical worldview, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
Nah, but we're broken because...
I thought it'd be good to karate kick my son's bed the other night while I was trying to move out through his trap toy line as I put him to sleep. Kicked it straight on.
It worked flawlessly. You know?
Flawless victory.
He probably observed that and made notes about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Now he's definitely keeping notes on how to kill me.
You know, and
that's a fact.
I have a trick neck.
Yeah. It'd be funny if every time you looked at me, you had to like...
Oh, it's like, my eyes get some serious movement when this happens, but usually at least 2 to 3 times a year. For whatever reason. There's no real reason for it other than the fact that I just have a lack of cartilage in my neck because of past injuries.
Yeah. Shout out the factory. Shout out football.
I'll just move just the wrong way in my sleep and then wake up the next morning completely...
Almost dead.
In agony. And that's where I'm at today. So I got that going for me.
We both got to get our shit together because if you go in there in a net cast and I go in there with a crutch for my broken foot, we're not going to be able to like yeet a pharmacy.
Yeah.
They're not going to take us seriously. They're going to think that they can fight us. And then they're going to get shot in the chest with double op buck.
Maybe that's a good thing though. They'll underestimate our prowess.
Yeah.
Because they'll be like, these broken motherfuckers ain't stealing shit.
I mean, I guess if they get yeeted in the chest with double out buck, then we'll be able to take their wallets and watches and stuff too.
Yeah. And I'm still going to limp my broken ass in there. Take their shit. Take their shit.
I choked on my saliva on that one.
Well, we've had, speaking of the Verona Criris, is that what we're calling it?
Verona Kairos. It's literally just switching two letters.
Yeah, I'm sorry. For some reason, my piglet was kicking in. Speaking of which, so we've had our first deaths in the U.S.
Oh, no, we're up to 6 now.
Oh, we're up to 6 now. Well, I said the deaths plural. I knew there was more than one.
Yeah, they moved it to 6 yesterday. They probably moved it up to 85 since we started the podcast.
Yeah.
You want to know? Here, let me get on my tangent real quick.
Yeah.
They self-admit at the same time that they'll say, well, we only had 1 death, 2 deaths, 6 deaths from the coronavirus. We only have so many infections, right? But they don't have enough tests. They're literally, up until last week, or maybe even still now, they're only testing people that have traveled recently, or who are close to people who traveled.
Yeah.
This virus can be undetected for up to a month.
Yeah.
And spread still. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they had an article come out on Drudge last week that said it could have spread for 6 weeks before we even knew about it. Imagine those thoughts.
Yeah.
If you just keep the test amounts down, you don't have a problem.
Well, it's one of those things where you were asking me, like, because we've seen news reports about there being runs on grocery stores and whatnot.
Yeah.
You said, like, how long till it comes to us? And I said, well, usually the coastal areas, when it comes to things like this, seem to be a few weeks ahead of us. I was like, we might get a short reprieve before it really hits us. I was like, but here's the thing, though. I was like, I feel like we have a definitive advantage where we live.
Yeah.
Because, we're not congested and we're not compacted into fucking brutalist apartment buildings or anything like that, where, like, the spread of a disease is just merely the matter of somebody coughing into their hand and then putting it on a doorknob of an apartment building.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, yeah, totally.
Like, and then spreading it to hundreds of people.
Right.
Like, yeah, sure, we still use those things. But the thing is that, when I come home, the only people that have touched the things I've touched are the people that live with me.
No, I get that.
I'm not saying don't take precautions by any means.
I think my main motivation for wanting to do this episode, this subject, was not only are we still on the cusp of not knowing what this is, we know that it's a bioweapon. Mm-hmm. We know that they're using it for certain reasons. They're locking countries down.
Yeah.
They're pushing the ideology of a mandatory vaccine. Basically, it could be a tool, and this has kind of come to me over the last few days in a real way, but like, what if it's just a highly infectious disease that's not that dangerous, that they use to do what they always do, get rid of human freedom and increase government control?
Yeah.
But the reason for today's episode isn't whether it's real or not real, and by real or not real, I mean like really dangerous or not really dangerous, but if you look at what's been going on the West Coast and California, all the way from Southern California to fucking Seattle, Washington, people are freaking out. Mm-hmm. And when people freak out, they go to the store and they buy shit. This is like wintertime all over again. Oh, we're going to have 6 inches of snow. We might as well go buy all the food.
Yeah.
The only difference is this might cause a disruption of the supply line. Yeah. So if you don't go out and get the things you need to self-sustain, you're going to be fucked.
Yeah, and that's why we're doing this episode
We're
today.
trying to prevent you from getting fucked in a way that you don't want to get. Maybe you want to get fucked.
Let me disclaim this real quick. We're not top tier preppers. We don't live in cargo containers like out in the desert or anything like that.
We're not like Prepper Nurse One on YouTube
But simple precautions can go a long way.
Yeah.
That's all.
We're here to give you the bare basics.
So
the bare bones
trust me,
and tubs.
Yeah, there is plenty of people out there that are a lot more knowledgeable than we are. But we feel like if we can direct our audience to those other sources and give them a little advice along the way, we've done our part to try to help.
Also with a healthy amount of dick jokes.
Yeah, there's that too. But before we get started on the topic, I just wanted to hit on politics for a second. How much do you think Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar were paid to bend the knee to Joe Biden?
Man, that's so gross. It's all gross.
It feels like we're on the cusp of like some sort of coup where the neolibs are finally going to dash out the hopes of the grassroots socialists in the Democratic Party. Or is that just me?
No, I mean,
They want they're pushing forward with trying to dash away Bernie Sanders' hopes of getting a nomination.
I get that, but at the same time, like, Pete packed it in, Thea Condor said.
Of course he did.
You gotta love him.
Yeah, I do.
My boy.
I never said I didn't.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm to the point now where I feel like ever since we did our Somerset Belanoff episode, I'm wondering how deep this really goes with like the programming. So before, you used to be able to tell on a basic level what they wanted or what they were trying to do. Yeah. I almost wonder if they don't want Bernie in there by trying to put all these lames out there. You know what I mean? Does it make sense? Like they're literally trying to just up at one time. Like
really now everybody's gonna throw their fucking weight behind Creepy Joe.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, like I read an article earlier before we got started, and I literally, I don't do this often, laughed out loud.
Lol?
Something that really wasn't funny.
Yeah.
Somebody went through, and Bernie put out his own math on how much all of his programs would cost, right? All the things he wants to do, right?
Right.
And it actually surprisingly was close to someone, an independent individual took the time to actually do the math, right?
Just the basic math on his proposals.
And you know what? Bernie's proposal, his own personal estimate, was only $4 trillion off from this guy's. Okay, so Bernie's,
that's not a whole lot.
Yeah. Well, okay, well, hear me out now.
No, I get it.
Bernie's proposal cost, he estimated, about $50 trillion over 10 years.
Yeah. This
guy estimated it cost about $54.6 trillion over the course of 10 years.
Tomato, bank.
But okay,
collapse.
keep in mind, we're sitting at like 13 point something trillion dollar deficit right now. Something along those lines.
Is that it?
That's what the article said.
Okay.
I might be wrong on that estimate, but that's the deficit.
That's
mind you, that's not the debt, that's the deficit.
I get it. Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. I just don't understand. There's no feasible means to do, like, maybe they have a point in trying to keep Bernie out, because the thing is he will literally cause a collapse to happen.
Yeah, he's the new collapsitarian candidate for 2020.
Does he not understand that, like, all business has to do, if, like, he implements these things, like he says all these different taxes and stuff, it seems simple, right? But these motherfucking corporations, they don't give a fuck about anybody. They will leave.
Speaking about corporations, I'd just like to answer a comment real quick, if we can pause. Stink.butt.69 said, "Is it not your plan to cap your neighbors and take their shit?" No, that's not my plan at all. I don't think it's your plan either.
No.
The only thing our neighbors have to fear from us is if they come try to take our shit.
Yeah.
We are going to rob corporations.
Yeah. We're not going to rob people.
A conversation we had the other day, and that was before he was broken. So now we're both broken. I don't know what we'll do. But when I broken my foot, I told him, I was like, I don't know. They're just not going to take me seriously when I go in there. He's like, what did you say about the bear? It was a Boogaloo side quest achievement.
Oh yeah, it was the it was a meme. The Boogaloo side quest titled "The Right to Bear Arms," and the goal, the mission is, it's like like when you play a video game and you get an achievement.
Yeah,
it's a Boogaloo achievement unlocked. So you train a bear to actually not only know how to use a gun, but understand its right to own a gun. Right. And the picture in the meme has a bear with a minigun on its back. And I said, I was like, here's what I'm going to do. I was like, because your foot was broken. I was like, I'm going to do this achievement, but I'm going to add an amendment to it. I'm going to strap a saddle to that bad boy. And I'm going to have you be the tail gunner for this machine gun bear. Yeah. It's that simple.
It's like Star Wars, but with a bear instead of a, spaceship.
Yeah, I'm going to... So that's basically what we're going to do. But no, so I have no intention of
I'm not going to harm...
evading another human's sovereignty and consent by trying to steal from them. I'm more about protecting myself and my family.
Are you going to watch The Psychopath over here? More than you would normally?
Definitely. Yeah.
Go back to our back catalog and find out about the neighbor to his right.
I'm always going to be a staunch believer in community. I'm not going to be a raider.
No.
That's all there is to it.
That's fine.
I
feel like it's fine.
Okay.
I'm not here to hurt innocent people.
But, you saw at the beginning, the title of the show was the 40 things.
Yeah, the 40 things you need in an SHTF situation.
Which we made separate lists, right? There's things that are going to realign. So it probably won't be 40 things.
We didn't really talk about it.
But we treat 40 in the sense that it's the mystical number.
Yeah, the mystical numerological number of 40, meaning as long as it takes or as much as you need.
Yeah. So like I said before, we're not the absolute source on prepping and keeping your family safe, but we will point you in the right direction. We'll give shout outs to specific individuals as the show goes along. But it just might be a good start for some of these things. These are just, it's not like the definitive list. These are just things that maybe you thought of, maybe you didn't think of.
Yeah.
That, you got to think about.
Right.
But I'd say let's go ahead and start this list.
Okay. Well, do you want to start or should I start?
Okay. Well, number 20.
Yours seems pretty on point.
Yeah. Number 20, I listed a good supply of vitamins.
Yeah.
And it's here specific because
I wish I brought a pen because I could have crossed out the ones. Okay. I didn't think about it. Oh, look, I have a pen.
It's a pen right here.
You're right. That's a knife. This is a pen.
So, and more specifically, because here's the thing: from the food you'll eat, you'll get a lot of what you need, right?
Right.
But there are things in particular, especially if you're in a temperate zone like us and you have to deal with wintertime and stuff like that. There are certain vitamins that you're going to lack unless you know exactly where to get it from.
Yeah.
But I included like vitamin C. Because we unfortunately don't grow a lot of things here that produce it on its own, so we have to find other sources for it. So the idea being, keep a nice, what's the hassle of every time you go to the grocery store, get some multivitamins.
Just pick it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's other things you need. I put like examples: vitamin C, thiamine, and some amino complexes, stuff like that.
Right.
Because you never know. Or another good example would be like powdered electrolytes and stuff like that as well. Because you just never know like where your sources are going to be and how much of everything you're going to be able to get in the first place.
Yeah.
But
plus you can get bulk vitamins. I know there's a variance and difference as far as like absorption for different vitamins, different qualities and stuff like that. But I think when the shit hits the fan, it really doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. As long as you're getting something. Plus I would like to imagine, shout out to me not being a scientist, but if you are starving, you're probably going to get as much of that as possible.
Yeah.
I like to think your body takes it more seriously.
Mm-hmm. What do you got?
More of a baby-centric. Mm-hmm. And also, shout out the Lady Bones. She did this part of the list. The Tylenol every 4 hours, Motrin every 6 hours for babies.
Okay.
We're thinking more along the lines of like baby health if they come down with a fever.
Yeah. So, and that covers a lot because...
It also moves us into the fact of over-the-counter medicine, because if you look at places like Italy or China, places that have already gone through this, they're selling bottles of Robitussin in China, the last I heard, $400 to $600 a pop.
And the simple things, too, you got to think about, like, aspirin and things of that nature, simply because, like, I think back to the second book in the Dark Tower series, right?
Yeah.
Roland is dying because he got bit, but because he got his fingers eaten by the lobstrosities and he has a bad infection, he has a really bad fever, he's going to die.
Right.
Eddie gets him some aspirin, right?
Yeah.
And it fucking, you would be surprised, like, how much a fever can totally
completely change your entire
can incapacitate
mode.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that you could try to break said fever could mean the difference between you being able to protect yourself and not being able to. I mean, it's that simple. Like,
right.
You'd be surprised. Like, I know all of us out there probably had a fever at one point in time. And think about it like this. Imagine, I don't want to know what it's like to get into a firefight when I've got a really bad fever and chills. Like, I really don't want to know.
You've never probably had that chemical concoction of adrenaline and fever.
I mean, I'd say take it even a step further. I'd say having caffeine pills and stuff like that on hand would be fucking...
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, imagine if you are sick. You could fucking dope yourself up with fucking aspirin and caffeine and fucking...
Let me tell you a double one that we use regularly.
Yeah.
You just go to your local Walgreens, your CVS, your Walmart. You go to the pharmacies over the counter. You get some ephedrine in the form of a Primatine or their version of it. Mix it with those things. You got a little bit of energy that you didn't have before, and it's an appetite suppressant.
It's a completely legal version of Psycho from Fallout.
It is the old school version also of Hydroxycut before they took the ephedra out.
Yeah.
25 milligrams of ephedrine, 200 milligrams caffeine, and a baby aspirin.
Did somebody ask?
A baby. Nah.
Oh, I thought somebody asked how much.
Nah. I just want to give it to him,
Yeah.
We're all about sharing here at the Buns Hub Podcast.
But just like those simple things, like you said, even Robitussin and stuff like that could be the difference. Like, what if you do get cut?
Yeah.
Or something, and you do get an infection?
Or even go to the doctor. Like we talked about this before. Go to your fucking local urgent care or whatever it is in your area and tell them, I got asthma. You know, they don't keep medical records. I mean, they do, but they don't know if you have a regular care doctor or not. Let's say you go in there and you tell them, I have really bad asthma and I've been dealing with a lot of chest cold with this bronchitis, and I've been eating these Primatene like they're candy, and I don't like the way it makes my heart feel, and I just want to I'd like to regain my albuterol. Is there any way you can give me a script for some albuterol? Get some albuterol, get a nebulizer. That way, if you have kids, if you have family, you can keep your lungs open. Keep your body helping to keep the infection out.
Yeah.
Very important.
So
and it's super cheap.
That's, one thing to think about when it comes to just simple medicine, right?
Yeah.
I put medical supplies on there. You could expand that but I'll talk about more on expanding on that later.
Does that encompass sanitation? Like every time we go
sanitation, isopropyl alcohol, fucking
Walmart or Kroger, pick up some hydroxygen, or what is it?
Hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah, hydrogen peroxide or alcohol.
Hey, the thing is, remember, folks, hydrogen peroxide is not... it's antiseptic, but it's used more as a aggregate.
They're saying now that it's one of the things that's more effective than bleach at killing the... So... I'm sorry. Veronavirus.
Use it as a way to clean a wound, not to actually... It is antiseptic.
To debribe it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So, and that kind of goes into my next thing I had on here, which I thought was important, was iodine.
Yes. Good for water, good for your thyroid. It's a nutritional requirement.
You need iodine. First of all, let's establish that.
It also moves into my next one, water.
Well, yeah, water is way down the list.
Well, you're going from least important to most important?
Yeah, least important to most
important.
Okay. So, when it comes to iodine, thyroid health, and imagine, if you will, you're living a scenario, let's not say outside the coronavirus, where you have to deal with radiation.
Yeah.
You're going to need a healthy thyroid.
Protect that thyroid, bro.
But not only that, it can purify water and keep you from getting the shits or getting some sort of bacterial infection.
It's a very low amount, too. Same with bleach. A very small amount. You can Google it now, the amounts required. But iodine to water, very small.
Yeah.
Same with bleach. Very small amounts will purify a large amount of water in a very short period of time.
Yeah. So, what do you got next?
Well, I didn't do mine a list of importance.
Oh, okay.
So, let me see. We'll just go one that I need to get today. Trash bags.
I didn't think of, when you said that yesterday too, I did not even think of trash bags.
I went through every single 15 items you could need prepper video. I literally watched them all that I could find. And trash bags kept coming up because of tarps. Because tarps is another one.
Yeah.
You gotta think about it. You have something happen, a tree fall, hit your house. You have to make a temporary shelter.
Yeah.
You do any of those things. You gotta leave your place, make a temporary shelter. You need a tarp or a trash bag. They make various trash bags of different, I think it's called mil. Mm-hmm. Like the amount of, I don't know if it's material or what it is, but per mil. But I mean...
Isn't that the thickness?
Yeah, the thickness.
Okay, yeah.
But... I mean, basic trash bags will help you. You think about it, you have to leave your house for whatever reason. Fire. Because if the SHTF, the shit hits the fan, you're not going to have emergency services. Mm-hmm. You're not going to have somebody there to help you in a fire scenario.
Yeah.
You leave your house and it's raining or it's snowing, you have to make a temporary shelter.
Yeah.
So you need something to help you. Trash bags.
You can probably catch water with trash bags.
Catch water, catch shitty baby diapers, catch trash that you can't burn.
Theoretically cover a wound if need be.
Yeah, I mean, pack that motherfucker.
I'm just saying.
You could be like the people in Wuhan and just, cover your face with a trash bag because they think it makes them feel better. So at least it makes them happier to not catch the virus, but really it just creates an area where you suck in more virus to give the virus more time to decide when it wants to go in your nose or mouth or eyeball and probably ear.
So my next one kind of went with my last one in a sense that you could get both of these things in the same place, but you definitely want to get them separate as well. And that's salt.
Oh, what about iodized salt, the double hitter?
That's what I said.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's what I meant too, but you also need regular iodine for purifying water and whatnot. But salt is vastly important.
It's what they call required.
It's because like I was telling you earlier, I was gearing myself more towards sustainability over time versus just short term, right?
Yeah.
Because there's obvious short term things, but over time, I mean, what if instead of just a month or 2 months, we're talking about 6, even a year. You want to be able to sustain yourself.
Yeah.
Salt is extremely important for many reasons. One, it's a vital nutrient that you need in your daily diet. And two, if we don't have electricity and we don't have those things that can preserve our food for us, salt was the way to go before refrigeration.
Now, you had a healthy amount of time spent in the culinary field. Can you give them a basic rundown on how to salt some raw meat? Say I shoot a deer and I clean it and I bring you the meat.
Okay.
Can you tell me how to salt cure it to keep it
here's
non-refrigerated?
The thing. Yeah. So there's a couple of key things beyond just the salt when it comes to that preserving meat and whatnot. One, especially if you're dealing with warmer months of the year, you cannot have it in direct sunlight whatsoever.
So you got to keep it in a shed.
You keep it in a shed.
Keep it in your house.
Keep it in a place that's naturally cooler.
Perhaps a basement.
Something that stays cooler, because you need to inhibit bacterial growth as long as possible before the salt has a chance. Because what you're going to do is you're going to cover that motherfucker in salt. You're going to create like a salt tomb for that thing to stay in, with some sort of way for the moisture to drip away, right?
Okay.
So to catch the moisture but draw it away from the meat.
So for my dumbass mind, how do you keep the equal amount of salt on both sides if you got one with, you know what I mean?
Well, okay, so you're gonna coat the whole thing.
You're hanging it, right? I guess.
You could hang. Well, no, you can't really hang it, because we're talking about like a literal like salt tomb, right? So a perforated dish, but you've put salt underneath it so it can drip away.
You need a lot of salt.
You do, yes. You need a lot of salt,
which is very cheap.
Yeah,
salt's
cheap.
Go buy some salt.
So you're going to let that moisture drip away, right? Because what you're doing is, for bacteria to be able to copacetically grow in an environment, it needs moisture, it needs heat, and it needs time, right? Mm-hmm. So by doing those things, you're inhibiting their time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. By drawing out moisture, you're taking away their ability to breed, right? And with the salt, it creates a harsh environment for bacteria to thrive in.
Right.
So. And then, that's why people smoke meat as well, because smoking keeps the initial insects off of it.
Right.
And then while the salt's doing its job, because insects don't like smoke.
How do you feel that you just gave them a life-saving life lesson there?
It feels good.
Feel good?
Yeah.
Feel good in here?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Okay, what you got next?
Are we ready to move on to food, or should we move on to other things?
Well, see,
oh, wait, I got one.
Okay.
Duct tape.
Oh, See, I didn't. After the fact, I made the list. I thought duct tape, but I kind of covered it in a different one. But duct tape is super fucking important.
And it's not just bulk duct tape. I can't even talk. Bulk duct tape that you would find anywhere. Don't buy the cheap shit, and keep it out of an area that is hot, because you don't want it to get too sticky and unusable.
Yeah.
The U.S. military uses, I think they call it 100-mile duct tape.
Mm-hmm.
Gorilla tape is great. They have like one called T-Rex tape or something. Basically, you just want tape. I mean, you think about it. Binds wounds, fixes problems, fixes leaks.
Listen, and I'm not an infomercial, and I know it's a meme, but I got some of that flex tape.
Yeah.
Where they
I wish we could cut it right now to you with a giant canoe or something.
And it's like leaking, and I just slap that shit on there.
Slap that shit.
That shit works. That is no fucking joke. It actually fucking works.
Maybe one day, if the Veronavirus doesn't kill us all, we'll just, do a video on us making a boat out of flex tape.
I just said another thing. It's not super important, but I did put it on the list because I thought people don't think about it.
Yeah.
Needle and thread.
Oh, yeah, for sewing?
Basic sewing supplies. Because think about it.
You got to keep the clothes you got.
Exactly. What separates us from the animals other than shelter?
Voting. Just kidding. Voting is violence.
Yeah. Clothing.
Yeah.
You need clothes. You're a naked ape. Yeah. You need clothes to wear to protect yourself. So if you're fucking, I don't give a fuck if you're fighting the man in a cardigan. If it gets a tear because you walk past a stuck out nail, well, now you got a torn cardigan. It's lost part of its purpose.
Yeah, look at you. Cardigans in a survival scenario.
Hey, listen.
I love that.
To each their own. What if you had a grandma and she made a cardigan for herself, but it had ammo pockets in it?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Where are you going to... I need another mag I'm out of... And she just pulls her cardigan open and it's got a freshly filled AR-15 magazine filled with some of those Go Yeet boys.
Yeah. I also said a good one, a plant ID book.
Yeah, for sure. Especially in areas like Ohio where everything looks virtually the same to the uninitiated.
Everything looks delicious, you mean?
I'm so hungry. Look, berries.
I'd love to have the doctor. I wish the doctor was here on this conversation because I know for a fact that dude keeps multiple plant ID books, and he is big into like being able to identify plants in the wild.
Man, I missed that time. We used to spend time together, no homo. The doctor and I, we would walk through trails or whatever.
Yeah.
And he just randomly spot out a plant. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's mallow. You can eat that. That's what they make marshmallow out of. And then he would tell me like how to prepare it or whatever. And one time we went to that place outside of Gratis. The
Historical Society?
Yeah, the Historical Society. And we found wild echinacea. And he's like, wild echinacea is a lot different than like cultivated echinacea. The wild echinacea you can pull out of the ground and you take the roots, right? Did you ever drink any of this? Okay, so you take, like, say you're walking through the woods and you see an echinacea plant. While we still have internet and power, you should Google what echinacea looks like. And pull it out, cut the roots off, take it home, wash it off, and then you put it in a blender, mix it with some alcohol. It was, we used some shitty shit.
Yeah.
I want to say some, like, 100 proof diesel.
Yeah.
Trash. You're not drinking that. You're cleaning wounds with it.
Yes.
That's another item. But anyway, you mix it with that, you put it in a blender, and then you put it in a little dropper bottle. And then you just put it under your tongue for a little while and swallow it. Yeah. And it fucks your mouth up.
Yeah.
I drank water shortly after trying some when I was sick. Because echinacea, it fights infection. It's antiviral, antibacterial, and antimicrobial in general. But it raises your white blood cell count. But when you take it naturally that way, I don't know what the fuck it does to your taste buds. But I tasted water. And it tasted like carbonated fruit punch.
Huh.
Fucked.
That's wild.
Yeah. I also got rid of the sickness. Shout out the doctor, Dr. Doug Hurdy.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you got?
Let's see. Candles.
That's, yeah.
Now, I don't know if you want to pull this up. Well, you don't have to.
Okay.
But it's Amazon. They have, you type in 9-hour candle bulk. And they're 9-hour candles. They look like the commercial version of those ones that the Catholics use.
Yeah.
They blast for 9 hours. I'm not sure how long of the burn time. But basically, you can get a 90-hour pack for $42 right now. So, think about it. There are two things in security that we mentioned in this list. Or I mentioned. I'm sure you have them too. Yeah. Light is probably the most security-centric thing that you could think of. Yeah. I'm not trying to sit in the dark. No. That drastically lowers your security. So, super cheap, something you can bulk up on. Put it away. A lot of these things we're going to mention, they're not out of the way investments. Like, if this turns out to be a big shit burger, you still have things you can use in a time of an emergency.
Candles,
there's going to be
candles don't have an expiration date, so
right. It's fucking wax and a string.
Yeah. My next two, I'm going to do these two together because it kind of goes hand in hand. Know your location. Yeah. So, like, when I say location, originally I said neighborhood, but I don't know where your bug out place is, right? Right. So, wherever you're going to be, know it. I want you to know every bit of it. Every last piece of it. I want you to know every...
In case you have to run from Alphabet Boys?
Alpha Boys or Raiders or whatever the fuck you got going on.
Yeah,
God
you
knows
know where you're going and they might not.
And also, I'd say amongst your family, learn a code system.
Yeah.
So, like, I thought about this the other day.
Not by Gobgobby Rob.
There you go.
See what I did there?
So, the thing about it is, like, when it comes to learning a code system, think about it like this. Like, say you're outside the house at night. You had to go do something or whatever, right? And your family is, like, you assume you left somebody behind to protect the family. Or your wife's there, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm going to want her to be on guard the entire time, right? Yeah. So when I come back, if I don't use the right code, like, think of World War II, where paratroopers had the thunder flash, or allies had the thunder flash. Like, someone say thunder and you say flash back because
if not, you got shot in the face.
Exactly. So you created that could save a life. You know what I mean? Because if I don't give back the call sign,
shoot me.
Fucking fill me full of lead.
Yeah, because you're an enemy.
Yeah. So I thought that was important.
Yeah. I was going to cross off bulk multivitamins because we already talked about the importance of bare nutrients to not starve to death if you run out of food. But one of the things you can do right now to protect yourself from the coronavirus or the flu or anything, they've shown in studies, first of all, ketogenic diet. So if you are on a ketogenic diet, your cells no longer have a high level of cellular glucose, which is what flu viruses require. which I'm assuming, even though the coronavirus is a bioweapon, we don't really know how it works. Perhaps it operates the same way.
Yeah.
If you don't have a high level of cellular glucose, it can't reproduce. Therefore, you don't get sick.
Yeah.
So vitamin C, you can go on Amazon and find the most highly available or bioavailable version in sodium ascorbate.
You ain't trying to fight alphabet boys with some scurvy going on?
Nah, bro.
You know?
I heard that they made ascorbic acid, the most available one that they let us buy, from black mold.
Awesome.
I read that once.
Okay.
But you can buy sodium ascorbate on Amazon or wherever for fairly cheap, and it's a large amount. Like I saw one, not a sponsor, but Bulk Supplements sells a bag, like the creatine that we bought before.
Yeah.
Giant bag of it for like $30. 283 doses. And then vitamin D3.
Yeah.
Also keeps your cells up. It requires, along the same lines of flu only comes around when the sun's not around. Mm-hmm. The sun, when it touches your skin, creates vitamin D3. So therefore, if you have a high store of D3 all the time, you have a higher immune system.
Mm-hmm. I put learn how to set traps.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like, granted, if you're going to go hunting, right? But the thing about it is, the beauty thing is with a trap is that hunting takes a lot of energy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, setting traps takes the energy out of it.
You just check the
most
traps.
part. You just check the traps, and what you find is what you find.
And I'm going to eat you.
Yeah. Because then you haven't had to go scout anything. It's literally just stuck.
So maybe right now, while we still have a pretty normal system, you could buy live traps.
Live traps, you could buy, in fact, you could buy just regular traps.
You could make a punji pit for your enemies.
Punji stick pit would be great.
It's where you dig a hole about shin high and you fill it with spikes. You piss and shit on those things.
Frank, when we become the lords of Preble County, we are going to have a snake pit.
Yeah.
For our enemies into.
And a what's it called around the castle?
A moat?
Yeah, a moat filled with Gyarados.
There you
Eat a dick. I think we're about to move into food.
Okay. Okay,
well, actually, I got two more.
All right.
That don't involve food.
Okay.
Obviously, self-protection is number one.
Oh, yeah. That goes with my number 10, which was bullets.
Yeah. Bullets, there are 3 precious metals involving survival. Gold, silver, and lead. Mm-hmm. Lead, keep the bullets. You don't have to have a crazy amount. I mean, you can. I'm not mad at you if you do. But if you don't have any, you need some, because you can use those to take other people's lead. And
here's the thing, I would advise when it comes to this, if you have a big arsenal, it's whatever, right? But it means nothing if you don't have the ammunition to back it up.
Yeah.
So, listen, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm going to pit dude who has 30 guns, but only has like 50 rounds for each gun or 20 rounds for each round versus dude that's got one gun, but he's got fucking, 5,000, 10,000 rounds of said ammunition, who's going to win?
Yeah.
A
dude who's on a raid that has 200 rounds of, let's say, 223 from a stolen AR-15 that's hunting for you to take your food and your ammo and your medicine, versus you, a boy who is ready for yeet, covered in that face camo of some kind, perhaps you're on poop, I'm not sure, and a 22 long rifle with a backpack filled with 10,000 rounds, you're going to win.
Well, and that's the thing, a bow without arrows is just a shitty guitar.
And a paperweight.
Yeah. Same thing with a gun without ammo. Now you just have a very specialized club.
Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
And we're back after a minor break.
Okay, so anyways.
Wrap this up.
Yeah, we last set off with bullets. Makes sense.
Which obviously also denotes guns, but I'm sure you all have guns already. If not, get one. Or 3.
Next thing I had was chainsaw and an axis splitter as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty simple. This is coming towards the end of the list, so I was thinking of that hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: especially in this region, you need heat to live.
Making the fuel.
So if you ain't got, the conveniences of modern living, you'll have to go back to old-fashioned ways of heating your house, i.e., wood,
trees.
Yeah, and having the ability to fell trees.
Yeah,
in a most convenient way, and that goes with my. You're good for a chainsaw. You're going to need a supply of gasoline.
Yep,
and you're going to need to buy agitator to keep that gasoline from going bad.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 2 things. So I think we're going to get into the food.
Well, one more. I was going to put a knife.
Oh, well, definitely.
Knife, fixed blade.
Well, and here's the other
blade,
thing.
Whatever you got.
And hatchets and maybe a machete too, because think about it like this with the whole setting traps thing. why waste a bullet killing an animal who's in a trap when you can just give it a good stroke across the shoulders with a machete?
Right.
End it quick. It's humane. I'm
going to run through this food real quick. That way,
you don't waste a bullet.
Just for time purposes, and we can talk about them each. Water, obviously.
Yeah.
You have a 3-day period where you can go without water. You need a way to either store water, get water, or have water. So either you have a lot on hand.
Yeah.
They are already here in Preble County in Eden. I'm going to go check it here when I go grab groceries after the show. But the last I checked, they were already out of life straws.
Yeah.
To purify the water.
Life straws, and I put, God damn it.
Storable water, like you said earlier, too, with the iodine or bleach. I mean, you can make it out of flowing water.
A reliable source is very important.
If you have money, check out Berkey. Check out Catadine. They make great filters.
And this goes back to the iodine
also
thing.
Not sponsored.
Because even if your supply is a creek out behind your house, right?
Yeah.
You can drink that water if you purify it with iodine.
Otherwise, you get dysentery.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No, and then you die because there's no health care.
Before we get to food, there was one more thing. I kind of skipped over because we were talking about bullets and whatnot. And this is my personal belief. Everybody has their own way of thinking. But I feel like in times like that, as long as it's sustainable, animal husbandry is one of the key elements of survival as humans. So I have a dog.
Pet food.
I get that pet food's a problem. Is that what you mean?
Well, I meant like that's another thing.
Okay, but here's the thing. So with a dog, like the relationship, like half the reason we're walking this earth to this day, I feel like is because we
shared relationships.
We created a bond with animals, and specifically dogs. Dogs were the first animals that we bonded with, right? Because they helped us hunt.
Yeah,
they helped us find things.
We created dogs.
They
from wolves.
Yeah, they fill in the blanks when it comes to a lot of our shortcomings when it comes to survival in the first place.
Full-time security system.
Full-time security.
And they're great doggos. They love you.
They're loyal. Like, for the most part, they're loyal. Their sense of smell is so much superior to ours when it comes to, like, if you train them to help you find food.
Yeah.
Oh, they would be, it would be insurmountably better to have something like that around.
Right.
And at the end of the day, at last-ditch efforts, they can help fight with you if need be. Or, I mean, in the grimmest sense, they can feed you.
Food. Yeah.
I mean, I hate to think of it like that, but that's just the way it is.
I have a few other things, and I literally just want to run down and check these off real quick. How many you got left?
There's like 5 I haven't mentioned yet.
Okay, let me run through this shit.
Mm-hmm.
We just mentioned food for the doggos, food for the cats. Cats are a great way to get rid of pests.
Oh, yeah.
Pestilence, get rid of rats.
Mice, rats.
They're also food sluts. So,
yeah. Well, here's the thing about them. With cats, their ability to go from being, pets that eat cat food to animals that will kill other animals to survive.
Right.
Is like dogs are more rely on us more when it comes to that than cats do. Cats will a domestic cat can go feral.
Yeah.
Right. It takes a lot longer for a dog to go feral.
Cats will eat you within like 2 days if you're dead.
Oh, I believe it.
Eucalyptus oil.
Oh, yeah.
Another one. For we've actually, Lady Bones and I've used this with the diffuser when the kids are sick. And if they have the chest congestion, it's like a natural version of the albuterol.
So it's like an expectorant?
Yeah. Well, it just keeps the airways open, or it's an expectorant. I'm not sure. It's one of those two things. # not a scientist.
Yeah.
Just run this through quick. You want me to, let's see. I also had paracord.
Yeah.
Rope and
paracord,
all those things. Goes back to shelter.
You look at those survival guys like Bear Grylls and stuff like that, and paracord is like always usually at the top of their list of things that are important.
Yeah,
because you'd be surprised at how many uses it has and like when you would need it. You know what I mean? Especially if you're creating temporary shelters and stuff like that.
To go down the food list, anything canned food, regardless of what they have printed on it, is good as long as it's not bulging or dented. It's good for 15 years, 15, 20 years. So any amount of canned food, you're going to want to have a variety of vegetables and fruits, obviously. You're going to want to look at the nutrients. If you keep your multivitamin up, it won't matter that much. But variety is very important, not only for your health, but your psychological health.
Yeah.
Because you could honestly go out and get a 20-pound bag of rice and 10-pound bag of beans and have your carbohydrates, your basic nutrients met, and your protein. But you're going to go crazy eating that shit 3 times a day and 2 times a day.
Just a sidebar here, and piggyback off the whole mental health thing, right? I would suggest to anybody that you should spend at least an hour or two a week doing something that neither requires electricity or any kind of technology to occupy your time.
Yeah. Push-ups. Nah.
Well, I mean,
punch in the pud.
I was thinking more reading books and things
Puzzles,
like that.
reading,
Puzzles,
games,
reading.
board
Because
games.
here's the thing: your mental health is, when it comes to this shit, is almost nearly as important as your physical health.
Prepper Nurse 1 on YouTube, another one I will shout out again and again and again to go check out. He even talks about the importance of cards and board games, because you're going to be in a place with either by yourself or with people. You're going to want to spread that time out.
Yeah.
Help out the mental health game.
Yeah.
As far as food goes also, you want to look at calorie count. So if you can go to an Aldi or a discount grocer, and we're just talking like if you're trying to save money, I don't know what your financial situation is. If you have a great financial situation, check out Bones and Tubs on Patreon. Patreon.com/Bones and Tubs. But anyway, canned meat, it helps. Protein, rebuilds muscle, obviously. Beef stew is a great one for calories and protein. Mm-hmm. Very cheap. It also feeds a family.
You want to get things that are high caloric, but have, like, they're not, like, it can be high calorie.
It's not a fucking Twinkie.
Exactly. You want something that's highly caloric, but at the same time, like, your body's gonna use that. Right. You know what I mean? Your body's not using Twinkie energy. I'm sorry. I wish the world worked that way, but
I wish it did too.
Yeah.
I'd have an IV of Twinkie.
Yeah. You know, the fucking peanut butter. You know, yeah. I
was gonna write that down and then write, sorry, your asshole.
Except for me. I'm the only one. I can't eat the peanut butter, but
pasta. You can get pasta. I mean, I just saw it the other day at Kroger.
Rice.
Or your Fred Meyer, whatever you got near around you. 10 for 10 on the box. That shit lasts forever if you keep it right. And if you do store it, make sure if it's outside like how I have in a garage, I'm going to put it in a Tupperware.
Yeah.
That way keep the mice out.
Keep the rodents and stuff out of it, yeah.
Broth in case you're sick or if you need extra nutrients. It's very important. Drink mixes, again, back to psychological help, because if you're only drinking fucking water, the thing that you look forward to today might be orange Kool-Aid, whereas yesterday's was blue, and tomorrow you can't wait to hit that great hitter.
Or, I said Kool-Aid, or I was thinking Crystal Light.
Crystal meth.
What's
what's
better than a glass of iodinized water, but something to cover up that iodine taste, which would be delicious Crystal Light.
It's so good.
Not a sponsor.
It tastes like strawberry lime iodine. It's so good.
It's so good.
Very important because it has a high shelf life, and it's very important with nutrients and filler. Powdered milk, powdered eggs, and powdered butter. Very cheap. You can get it right now. Mm-hmm. If you have to, let's see. All right. If you have to look at maybe one of your family comes down with the virus or any type of sickness that you don't want to spread, laundry detergent. You can get the Lysol variant. Lysol variant.
Yeah.
You're going to want to keep them isolated, obviously. We talked about earlier today, plastic cutlery, things that you're not going to have to touch.
Yeah.
So keeping isolation, keep that in mind. And anything that comes with isolation of a family member or a loved one. Dish soap, obviously, if you're going to want to keep your dishes clean. Soap, obviously, too. I mean, think about it. You're going to try and take a shower.
Hygiene's super important.
It's very important.
Yeah.
And I believe that expands the list that we have, but I do have 2 shout-outs real quick.
I still have stuff.
Okay, well.
Okay, sorry. I'll go through it quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so just a couple other things. I said basic tools for maintenance and repair. We're talking screwdrivers, hammers.
Yeah.
Things of that nature.
Repair.
Because you might need to repair something, like...
You don't have somebody to call upon or go somewhere to do.
Exactly.
Your
Plus,
fixes.
To be able to build temporary things like barricades or whatnot, you're going to need hammers and nails. It's that simple. I said... and my 2 most important things, and some people are going to be like, this is lame. But
no, it's not lame. You told me them earlier, and they make a lot of sense.
And I said, number 2 most important thing is cooperation.
Yes.
You have to, and I didn't say one that I had earlier, which was create a network, but that goes hand in hand with cooperation.
Well, I'm assuming cooperation, you're talking about moving back into a barter system, which they moved us out of.
Yes.
You're going to want to trade something you have excess of to your neighbor.
Exactly. You want to be able to have cooperation with those around you, because the bigger the community of people helping each other is, the higher likelihood they will survive.
Right. And
community is important.
And along with your psychological help and future growth, think about the idea that you have hope. If some of you have the more entrepreneurial I can't even say it, entrepreneurial
mindset. Yeah.
You might have the ability. This is a literal recreation of the small business owner.
Like the larger your commune is, your community, the higher likelihood I would say, like, because you could repel invaders or people that would wish to do you harm.
Find people in the community with your cooperation that have various skill sets: security, trading, medical, any of that.
Yeah.
You can't just isolate in your own home.
No. You need a community, because the thing is, like, this goes down to...
Tribal.
Yeah, well, it goes down to the notions of what made us thrive and what made us survive.
Where do we start? Let's restart this bullshit system.
Okay, because I'm here to tell you now, being a hermit isn't going to work. It's not. You'll survive for a while, but you're not going to survive forever.
Knowing you like I do, that means a lot.
Yeah.
From a hermit.
Yeah. From an actual shut-in and me saying you need community. But my number one thing above else, and this goes with what we've said in this episode, this goes with who we're going to point you in the direction of.
And our mission statement from day, one, pretty much.
And I would say 90% of this is going to come from yourself, because it's all about you doing it, and that's knowledge.
Yeah.
You collect as much knowledge as you can in the time that you have, in order not only just to survive, but you don't want to just survive. It doesn't need to be. It needs to be more about as much survival as it is thriving. You need to thrive.
Thrive through it. That will help your mental health. That will help your out goal, your end game. And I decided when you told me that, I thought of this earlier. I want to give away one of the books from the book list.
Okay.
As a Man Thinketh.
Yes.
Look it up. Buy it. It's cheap. Get it now. Get it mailed to your house. Think about it. If you have nothing but time to sit around with people, if you're in isolation, you're going to want to read books.
Yeah.
As a Man Thinketh. Look it up.
The human, it's like that meme we talked about where it said that you're a brain, right? That's driving a bone mech covered in meat armor.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Your brain, and this is my own personal philosophy, is like a shark. It has to swim forward constantly or will die.
Yeah.
Okay. To keep going and to survive means that you have to continue to learn.
Right.
Because here's the thing: digging a hole, burying yourself and staying there, that's not thriving. That's just surviving.
Hoping that you hold out for somebody else to lead you.
Exactly. Instead of moving forward. Because the thing is, that's like the ingenuity of the human spirit right there in and of itself.
Mention that fiction that you told me about that teaches you told me about it. It was a good reference to anarchy, where the goose was the highest family unit.
Okay, yeah. Well, okay, so
that's a good book by.
It's from you said it too. I'm gonna say T.H. White, The Once and Future King.
Yes, that's it.
It's if you've ever seen the Disney movie A Sword and a Stone, it's the first book in The Sword and Stone is the first book in The Once and Future King, right? It's about King Arthur.
Yeah.
And Merlin turning Arthur into animals was his way of teaching him about different ways of government and the most effective means and the things that you should avoid and what have you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And at one point in time, or later in the story, he turns him into a goose, right? And it's his bid to say that, like, community is the most, like, formidable and strongest form of government there can be. Beyond that, it becomes ineffectual, and not only that, tyrannical. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because he's basically saying that the way geese operate is, like, they're anarchists in the pure sense of the form. They understand, like, there is a leader amongst the family, understanding that the family unit is the strongest form of community. But it's not because of their age or because of anything like that. It's just simply because everybody knows their best navigator, right? And even amongst your own community, you have to be able to find, there's going to be those people that are better at than others, naturally. For sure. And you have to be able to divorce yourself from the notion, because there's going to be those that want it that really don't deserve it, right? Yeah. Because they're just striving for power. And there's a difference between those striving for power and those trying to preserve the community.
Trying to help.
Yeah. So you have to be able to you really use your big brain, You can't just use this one or this one. You got to use both of them in tandem and understand that there are those who seek power simply to control, and there are those that wish to help. Also, buy a copy of the Kabbalion. Yes. Everybody needs that in their library. Mm-hmm. It's very cheap. It's good, something good to contemplate. You don't want to buy it. What is it? Project Gutenberg has it online. Check it out, download it, print it. You have an infinite copy forever. So that's about it for me. I feel good about this episode. Yeah, me too.
I hope that we helped you. I hope that we also point you to the fact that the West Coast is currently buying up everything and it's coming to a neighborhood near you soon. So even if this isn't a real virus, I mean, I'm sure it is a real virus, but if it's not as dangerous as they say it's just a highly infectious way of looking at things. Regardless, you're going to need food. You're going to need these things. So go out and get them.
Yeah.
And if you have the money, we talked about this earlier too, various forms of generators are available to preserve, like a freezer, refrigerator, whatever. But it's looking like they're trying to reset the economy at the very least. They're trying to disrupt the supply chains. Look at all the other countries that have had this problem before. It's coming here, and it's here now.
Yeah.
The only reason why the numbers are so low are due to the test kits. So wait for the next couple weeks, the numbers are going to skyrocket. And everybody's going to freak out. They're already talking about a FEMA nationwide pandemic alert. Just get ready. Make sure you have what you need for those, that you love and those that you care for.
Yeah. All right. So before we go, I'm sure there's a few prepper sites or people you'd like to point out as being good examples of individuals you'd want to listen to.
I had one, Prepper Nurse 1. He's great.
Yeah.
Mark Fugel, of course. Mark Fugel News. Check out, I guess I should say the channel name. Prepper Nurse 1 on YouTube. Mark Fugel has 2 channels, Mark Fugel News, Mark Fugel TV. Dabu, it's DAHBOO77 on YouTube. Ice Age Farmer, he has a video right now that's saying that this is all pre-planned. This is all a farce. He goes out and shows how an executive order was passed in California to set up FEMA camps in December. Higher Side Chats just did an episode on germ theory. Check that out. AMTV, I guess, is okay. He gets a little preachy for me. Yeah. But, I mean, just go out there and get the knowledge, like you said, the most important thing.
So, and there's a lot of stuff you can find on YouTube, too.
For
just
sure.
in general, like, things you want to learn. Like, I learned how to do sutures from YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, to stitch a wound.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I feel like
fucking important.
Yeah. So, and you could, and there's so much stuff you could learn anything, and the knowledge is all there for you. That's the part I'm trying to stress here.
Right.
You can find anything. Like,
anything you need to know.
Yeah. You want to learn the simplest things. You go on YouTube. It's there.
Right. Get it while you got it.
Okay. So if you want to make contact with us, though,
we're on Instagram, instagram.com/bonesandtubs.
You message us. You could also email us.
Long form emails at bonesandtubs@gmail.com.
You could show us love.
Patreon.com/bonesandtubs. We're on PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App also.
Yeah. So between now and then, everybody stay safe. Okay. We
check out Blooded the Brave.
Oh, Blooded Brave. Thanks, Blooded the Brave.
He's the intro and outro music.
Yeah. We would like to thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. We hope that you tune in next week, and between now and then, all of you stay safe.
Hold your light at night with a candle. We love you.
We really do.
Fuck the blue line and everything they claim. The cops are the world's most dangerous gang who will put you in chains. Fuck the blue line and everything they claim. You can lie if you want to see me. I don't need, all I need is all I have, and for that I will bleed. For those who'll take a stand, not the one in the box. Fuck the judge in the system, backed up by the cops. Dirty ass henchmen pitching pennies out of pockets. If you question them at all, I pull out the rocket. Reaching in the trigger fingers, been on the ready. That's why the people are shaking, cause they know that they're deadly. To get promoted, to do what they need. That's why they're locked and loaded, it will put you on your knees. Nah, it don't matter your age, race, or creed. We're all considered the enemy, cause we wanna be free. It's open season and the reason ain't new. It's old as the ways that control me and you. Brat, brat, I back 'em down with the sound. Brat, brat, I back 'em down with the sound. Brat, brat, I back 'em down with the sound. Brat, brat, I back 'em down with the sound. Here's a list you piss, probably not, you ain't read it. Just wait until they cuff your wrist, I bet then you'll see it. Live in your face, tell me how that mace tastes like shit. When they mix in that taser from the waist, they pack it to pull it, and they got 'em to use them, and you paying for it all. The new tanks and guns, new toys everywhere. They're like kids at Christmas, running downstairs with your name on the hit list. Boom, they unwrapped the box and left shells at your door. Then they broke the locks from up top. They'll strike and got you in sights. That sniper's a bitch, it will take away your life. They shoot when they want, just cowards with power, and no different than the ones who took the Jews off the showers. Oh yeah, I said it. Fuck their excuses, they're clueless and useless, and way beyond ruthless. Just jackboot thugs who get paid to obey orders to kill you or put you in a cage. If you don't think it, just do what you're told. Your conscience is dead, you don't have a soul. That's why it's easy for them to murder, rob and steal, cause they're already dead, nah, they can't feel. Brat, brat, I back them down with the sound. Brat, brat, I back them down with the sound. Brat, brat, I back them down with the sound. Brat, brat, I back them down with the sound. Fuck the blue line and everything they claim. The cops are the world's most dangerous gang. Most dangerous gang who will put you in chains. Fuck the blue line and everything they claim. Fuck the blue line and everything they claim. The cops are the world's most dangerous gang. Most dangerous gang who will put you in chains. Fuck the blue line and everything they claim.